Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is the view from our station this morning of I-25 and Woodman. Traffic picking up, definitely, especially those southbound lanes. Looking a bit slow. We're tracking a bit of a delay from around Fillmore back towards Woodman and Academy as well. So it's starting to look a little bit slower out there, but overall not too busy on the Colorado Springs roads. And look at the beautiful sunrise. Lots of blue skies out there, not a whole lot of cloud cover. And that will be the case at least until the afternoon hours. Eventually, we are tracking some changes though, and once again, it's going to be very windy out there with high fire danger. Lots to talk about in the weather department. Of course, we're going to do that here over the next 10 minutes or so. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Kevin Bloomberg. Again, lots to talk about here, and of course, we're going to do all of that. We want to make sure that you're prepared, that you know what's coming for the next 24 to 36 hours or so. We're tracking more high fire danger, very strong, potentially damaging winds for the next 24 to 36 hours. And also the potential for some snow showers. So an increase in moisture, we really need it. That's going to happen later this evening and into the overnight hours as well. But let's start with that high fire danger. We have red flag warnings in effect, or they will be in effect starting at 11 a.m., lasting until 8 p.m. this evening. High to critical fire danger once again. And the main reason for that is going to be some very strong winds. Humidity is still going to be a problem. It's going to be very dry. But I think that's mostly going to be limited to the eastern and the southeastern plains, where those temperatures are still going to be very mild in the mid to upper 70s, but a bit cooler at least up and down I-25, where that humidity is going to be a bit higher as a result. But for all of us, that wind is going to be a very big problem. Already seeing some of that early this morning out the door, especially the southern I-25 corridor, some wind gusts up to around 50 miles per hour. And also around the Colorado Springs area, especially the Air Force Academy, northwestern El Paso County, already seeing those winds starting to pick up, and they will continue to intensify. I think that's going to continue or really speed up over the next couple of hours, and also spreading more into the eastern plains. It's going to be very windy later this morning, lasting into the afternoon. That's why we have high wind warnings out, and it's a bit of a mess on this map because they all have different start and end times. They're issued for different wind gusts. But the bottom line for the next 24 to 36 hours, it is going to be very windy for pretty much all of us across southern Colorado, and some of those wind gusts will have the potential to be damaging as well. So let's take a close look at that. Those winds continue to strengthen, as I mentioned, very quickly over the next hour or two, spreading further into the eastern plains as well. So very strong winds, and I think the strongest wind gusts arriving into the early afternoon hours. Damaging winds possible up to 70 or 75 miles per hour, especially for the southern I-25 corridor, but also for Colorado Springs and Pueblo, looking very windy early this afternoon. That's not going to change much towards the evening hours. So for your drive home from work, it will be quite breezy. And if you're taking the I-25 corridor or basically any north-south oriented road, just use extreme caution, especially in any lightweight or high-profile vehicle. That wind will pull on your car for sure. As we go on into the overnight hours, we are tracking a few changes. That's when the winds will start to lighten up a little bit for the southern I-25 corridor. For the rest of us, it's still going to be very windy out there through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. Notice though how the wind has changed direction, coming in from the north overnight and tomorrow morning. That's because we're tracking a cold front sweeping through overnight already later on this evening. So it's going to be a little bit cooler into the day tomorrow, as it's still going to be, well, quite breezy on Wednesday, but eventually later on tomorrow afternoon or even into the evening hours, those winds will start to lighten up a little bit more, especially around I-25, but it's still going to be breezy, probably mostly so out over the eastern plains and some of the wets and the sangres a little bit further towards the south and west. So with that, we are alerting you first to more windy conditions ahead on this Tuesday, damaging winds that's creating some more high to critical fire danger as a result. Wednesday, still looking breezy, but the fire danger probably not so much of a problem. And the main reason for that is increasing moisture, and that's already going to start later on this afternoon. We'll see a gradual increase in cloud cover during the afternoon hours. Already some wind-driven rain and snow showers over the higher terrain. Those will start to make their way into the I-25 corridor, most likely after the Tuesday evening commute. And that's right when that wind starts to shift to the north. So some wind-driven snow showers over the Palmer Divide. That's probably where most of the snow is going to stay. I think the majority of at least say southern El Paso County and down towards Pueblo should remain dry, but there could be some moderate snowfall at times over the Palmer Divide. Maybe some minor accumulations up to an inch or two in some spots, mostly on grassy surfaces. I think the roads are going to be too warm and that snow will melt on contact. But of course, those winds are still going to be a big problem later on this evening. So wherever snow is falling, there could be some severely reduced visibility, maybe some near blizzard conditions. So if you're going to be out on the roads later on this evening, there could certainly be a problem with that snow, not necessarily the snow sticking to the roads, but the snow reducing visibility as those winds are going to be very strong. Most of the snow showers move out of the way during the overnight hours, pushing into the eastern and southeastern plains, but there could still be some lingering wind-driven snow showers around the Pikes Peak region. And even into through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning, mostly dry, but there could still be a few of those wind-driven showers around the Pikes Peak region, maybe some other areas of those higher elevations west of I-25, also into tomorrow afternoon. So I'll call it mostly dry for Wednesday with a bit of a mix of sun and clouds, but there could still be some snow showers in there. And indeed, those will be snow showers because, as you can see, the temperatures noticeably cooler than what we saw yesterday and also what we are expecting on this Tuesday. Looking at your 7-day forecast, it should be a little bit drier towards the end of the week, still keeping that mix of sun and clouds towards the end of the week and some more breezy winds on Thursday, but lighter winds expected for Friday and the weekend, maybe a couple more showers here and there, and then pretty normal temperatures for the middle and late part of March with those highs in the 50s and 60s, and also in Pueblo. Mostly dry for the rest of this weekend. Roll out an isolated shower or two into the day tomorrow, and maybe towards the end of the week or through the weekend as well. But as I mentioned, overall mostly dry, bit of a mix of sun and clouds, highs mostly in the 60s and a couple of 70s mixing in at the same time as well. All right, so that's what we have in terms of weather. As I mentioned, still looking pretty active for the next 24 to 36 hours because the winds are going to be very strong, really picking up, already seeing that happening as we speak, but especially over the next hour or two, those winds will continue to strengthen, especially along the I-25 corridor and pushing further out into the eastern plains. The strongest winds, I'm expecting those to be during the early afternoon hours today, but those winds will continue to be strong through the overnight and into our Wednesday morning as well. So just keep an eye out for that. Those winds are going to be very strong coming out of the west today, shifting direction to the north into the day tomorrow. So tomorrow, driving on any east-west oriented road will be a little bit more tricky. And we're also tracking those snow showers starting to move in. I think especially later this afternoon and into the evening hours, at least the more impactful snow probably arriving after the evening commute. And when I say impactful, I don't mean accumulating snow because I don't think that's going to be a big issue. But the main thing here is going to be that snow being blown around by those very strong wind gusts. So there could be some reduced visibility wherever snow is falling later this evening and even during the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Maybe some near blizzard conditions at times as well. All right, I'm going to bring you back to that shot from our station at I-25 and Woodman. Traffic picking up for sure, especially those southbound lanes. Still keeping an eye on a couple-minute delay southbound I-25 between, say, Fillmore all the way back up towards Academy and Woodman. But overall, not looking too busy on the roads around Colorado Springs. All right, make sure to not blow away today. Stay safe. Keep an eye on the forecast for the rest of our day today. Don't do any outdoor burning. Of course, that fire danger is still a problem. And have a great day.